Hello everybody, this is Kyrix with another edition of This Week in Kyrix. Today is Wednesday, April 15th, yes, of 2015. And, it's quite a day. Quite a day indeed. Should I do a thing? I was gonna do a thing, but I didn't do a thing. Oh, I did start to do a thing, yes. Thought that looked like sand. I started a thing. Let's continue a thing. Okay, first off, tournament info. I won. I played in a HeroClix tournament and I won. I should not be as pleased about it though. I kind of went cheese. We had 1,000 points, anything goes, and I played fucking Kaiju. That is, as in Pacific Rim Kaiju, specifically Scunner, Slattern, and Raiju, which were the ones in the trench, actually. So yeah, that was a hell of a thing, and I tore up. Now that I think about it, I'm about to say I didn't lose anybody, but I did. In the first match, I lost Slattern in the first match. I think I lost Raiju early on as well. It basically came down to Scunner versus Thor and the Incredible Hulk from the new Avengers movie. And Scunner was more than a match for both of them because I had them paired up with the Sinestro Corps Yellow Lantern Battery, which, for those of you who don't know in HeroClix terms, how the Yellow Lantern Battery works is it adds a special ability to everybody who has a construct on them from that battery that says, if I'm more points than you and you try to attack me, you take -2 to your attack, making it harder to hit me. And these are colossal, so they're already hard to hit. And Scunner's 400 points. There was literally one person in the entire tournament who could have gone toe-to-toe with me and rendered that special ability of mine completely useless. He was the guy that we refer to as P3, and I can say that name because it's not his real name. And he was running Marvel Zombies. First the team base, 400 points, and Zombie Galactus at 400 points. And he ran a bunch of other miscellaneous things too, apparently, but those are unimportant to this story. But I never faced him. Despite Marvel Zombies being downright broken, nobody beat him so much as they outlasted him. Because what happens is when the zombies hit you, they put tokens on you, and when they kill you, you rise as a zombie. So you have to fight not only their figures, but any of your figures that they kill as well. And apparently he didn't kill enough figures. So I dodged a bullet there. And my prize for this was Wonder Woman from, I believe, the Justice League team base, which I do not have, sadly. But I can probably get it now. It's probably gone down in price enough, and it's not as broken as it used to be with the new Nerf rules. But as the judge was getting it down off the shelf, getting the prize kit, the figure literally skittered out of the pack down to the floor at my feet. And he's like, oh, maybe it's trying to get to you. Maybe it's supposed to be yours. And I pick it up, and it was the Wonder Woman that I was going to pick. And I'm like, yeah, it was. He's like, what was it, Wonder Woman? Is that what you were going for? Yup. And he got a laugh out of that, as well he should. It was kind of funny. And, yeah, so I won that. I took second at Star Trek. And again, I played some cheese. The funny thing is I was playing the cheese to show it off to the judge, who didn't even show up. Because he came late, because reasons. Some of them were not good reasons, but they were reasons, so I'll let it slide for now. But, anyway. If you think this is bad, this is going to be nothing compared to the materials it's going to end up taking to do all this. But anyway, the other two people, because it was a battle royale, because not enough people showed up for an actual tournament. But the other two people were actively colluding against me. They never took a shot at each other despite having numerous chances. And even then, I still took down all but one ship of one person's fleet, and the main hitter of the other guy's fleet. So the Borg are not a toy. The Borg are not to be trifled with. And the new guy, who is one of my D&D players, and he's with us now on the Wednesday and the Thursday games. He's starting flicks too. He won, and good for him, because he's on a very low income. So every ship he wins, because these don't have fees attached to them, these tournaments that we run, because that judge bought the expensive kits and isn't charging any of us for them, and I'm going to be doing much the same when I buy my kits, because I'll actually be able to. Like I said, it's $20 a month. I can eat that. That's nothing, even on my budget. That's fucking nothing. But that's a ship added to his roster that he didn't have to spend money on. So that means, even without spending any money, he is slowly building up ships to the point where he's going to be in a competitive situation with only things he owns, and that's good, because everyone has to get to that point eventually, you know, because, I mean, you can be good with other people's figures, but if they need those figures, like Anubis wanted to borrow my Sinestro Core battery so he could play Sinestro Core. But he originally wasn't going to go at all, so I decided I'm going to use it, you know? And then when Skinner called and said, hey, Anubis wants to borrow the battery, I'm like, he should have told me earlier when I asked, because now I'm using it. Because I was originally going to run White Lanterns, but I'm like, you know, Sinestro Core would work so much better. White Lanterns, by the way, the White Lantern battery on the Kaiju would mean that they would not die on their very last click. They would just stop, forcing you to waste an extra action on them. Plus, the White Lantern itself gives them the ability that I can give the battery an action and basically have it blow up with health to all the core members in range. Which would have been good, but it's better to never be hit at all than to heal damage, you know? All the healing in the world doesn't matter if they can't hit you in the first place. Incidentally, that's the reason I didn't beat the Hulk in the first round, because he had a ridiculous ability to heal. And I felt like, okay, I don't want to try and outstrip his healing, so I'm just going to kill everything else. Because the Hulk couldn't hurt me. I hit him hard enough that he would not be able to hit me, you know? And that was the point on the battery dial where I could just swap the constructs back and forth willy-nilly. So on my turn, I would have a construct that would push through his defense, and whenever I decided to rest, I would put it, or basically every other turn, because I could switch it once a turn. So I would switch it to the scissors, which is the penetrating defense power, and attack him. And then he would swing on me. And then I would hit him with the scissors again, and then switch to the decoy, which gave me a 1 in 3 chance of not being attacked. And then he would either attack or miss, and then I'd probably switch back to the scissors. And you see where this is going, just back and forth. And have a more or less flawless defense. Because on top of that, I had a power called Impervious, where if he did hit me, I have a 1 in 3 chance. Did I say 1 in 6 earlier for shape change? Or for decoy, rather? It's 1 in 3. But I would have had a 1 in 3 chance of not taking any damage, and a 2 in 3 chance that I would just reduce it by 2. So the odds of him doing severe damage to me were next to non-existent. Matter of fact, when he did hurt me, I managed to heal it up with the Nurse Construct, which lets me regenerate anyway. And that was after 2 failed attempts to use it, because you roll a 6-sider, then subtract 2 from it to a minimum of 0. And I ended up healing, but it took me 3 turns to do it. And even then, he wasn't able to bring me down. So... And for the rest of the thing, he's like, yeah, have I done a good job selling everyone on these? I'm like, dude, I whooped their ass and I'm still impressed. They were a good team. No? It's just that WizKids brings out so many fucking sets that I'm almost completely over HeroClix. And it's very sad because I've been playing HeroClix for over a decade. You know? And it really hurts me to know I'm not leaving the game because, oh, I don't like these figures. I'm leaving the game because I can't afford these figures. And because WizKids is doing so much fucking convention stuff, it's ridiculous, and I don't go to conventions. And it wouldn't be bad because my friends go to conventions. So I could say, hey, here's 40 bucks, pick me up the new giant-sized Wasp from Ultimates or whatever, you know, because I think in Ultimates, in one of the versions, Wasp can grow. Well, in at least one. She did it once in the Marvel Universe, the mainstream, but it kind of killed her. But yeah, I would pay for a giant Wasp. But the problem is, they never make enough. And they sell out on, like, the first day. So it's impossible for my friends to get these, and even if I'd shown, it would have been next to impossible for me to get them. Because usually I get the story, well, I was lucky to get mine, you know? They were almost sold out when I got there. And that's the reason I just can't deal with it. I can't deal with WizKids. Because even their normal sets do this crap. And it's stupid that they do this. Because there's no freaking reason that you can't keep your own stuff in stock. There's literally no reason, no excuse you can't keep your own product in stock, that you can't make enough of your product to fill the needs of all of your customers. Because it's not just special stuff. I could understand convention stuff, that they want to keep that limited, not just a convention, but limited supply, that's fine. But they do it with mainstream releases, like the Trinity Wars set. They sold out of that. Giant Size X-Men, they sold out of that. War of Light was supposed to have enough for everyone, even though it was a special thing. They sold out of that 4 months before it even frickin' released. And didn't make more. And it's because of things like this, because they bring out so many sets and they never produce enough of the sets they make. And they bring them out so fast that you're still paying off the first set when you're getting the next one, or at least in my case. That's the reason why I owe my friend about 300 bucks. Because they keep coming out with shit like that, and I have my own finances won't cover it, so I have him get it for me, and I try and pay him back, and then I'm paying him back for the new stuff that's coming out. And even he can't keep up with it, and he's a fucking nurse. He's making decent money out of this. But it's really, really stupid. Whereas with Star Trek, yes, they're coming out with stuff every month. But it's 3 ships a month, and 1 to 2 tournaments, depending on where I go. And I, as the judge, am paying for tournament kits, because that's the way the store works, where I go to, you know? And even though I'm paying for that, it's nothing compared to the other stuff. Because, yes, I have to buy 3 ships of Star Wars. The difference is, there's not a situation arising where, oh, I've got this one. I've got, damn it. I bought 4 boosters and I got 3 ISS Enterprises. I don't even play Mirror Universe, you know? It's the case of, oh, look, the ISS Enterprise. I don't have that. Boom, now I do. Oh, look, there's another ISS Enterprise. I have that. I'm not going to buy it. Oh, wait, there's the Hakona. I didn't buy that 2 months ago. I'm going to buy it now, though. You know? And that's the other thing. I'm a little different than most people in that I play, well, I don't play all factions, but I purchase all of them. So for me, it's 3 ships a month. If you're a Romulan player, you bought last month's ship, the Hakona, and you're not going to buy another ship for like 3 or 4 months. If you're Mirror Universe, you've got like 1 more ship to look forward to after the ISS Enterprise. You got the Avenger. And then you're done for a while. You're done until at least October. If you're a Federation player, the next couple months are going to be a big deal for you, because there's like 6 more ships coming out. But there hasn't been any for the past 2 months. You see? And that's the thing. If you pick 1 or 2 factions, you're not going to outstrip yourself, because there's only so many ships. And most of my friends are playing 1 or 2 factions. I'm the one who's playing them all. Because I was starting with Federation and Dominion, and then I got the prize kit, so I got, oh, well, here's some Ferengi, here's this, here's that. And then I bought a couple independents because they were interesting to me. And then I go on Amazon to buy the rest of the Klingons and the Romulans. I'm like, oh, there's only like 6 or 7 of each left, so I may as well finish those off. And then I noticed, well, once I have those, there's only like a handful of independent ships. I may as well get those too. Just kind of snowballed for me. No, but... Oh, on that note, I finally got my Jaeger, my USS Jaeger. I came home with it yesterday, and my Bajoran Acorum, which I gave that ship a lot of crap. It's not a bad ship. It's not that I hate the ship, it's that I hate the faction, because Bajorans do not have a faction. They have a faction, but they don't have a faction. And what that means is the Bajorans only have 2 ships and partial ownership of Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine is a 2 to 3 faction ship, depending on which card you use, because there are 4 cards for it. There's Terok Nor from the retail one, which is Dominion. Deep Space Nine from the retail, which is Federation Bajoran. Abandoned Nor class station, which is independent from the tournament. Then there's Deep Space Nine from the tournament, which is Federation Bajoran Dominion, you know? And aside from that, they have the Bajoran Interceptor, and they have the Ikorum. Or I think it's like Interceptor number 5 is what it's technically called. But you see where this is going. There's not... They have 2 ships and a station. And the ships they have are snub fighters. And I'm sure I could build a really good Bajoran team, kind of, out of Deep Space Nine and the Interceptors, except there's not enough Bajoran crew. Because the only Bajorans come with the Ikorum and the Interceptor, and let's face back, 2 of the Bajoran captains are Kira. One from Deep Space Nine, well, from that, or rather from the Defiant crew pack, and one from the freaking Interceptor. Or not the Interceptor, the Ikorum. Sorry, I can't fact it today. But so I can't really play Bajorans. You know, it's gonna end badly if I try. So I don't even bother trying to play the Bajorans, because what's the fucking point, you know? If they, and I would say if they had a real ship, they'd be good, except the Bajorans don't have a real ship. That's all they really have is these little civilian things and snub fighters. Because the Bajorans, if they're not a pre-warp civilization, they're just barely a warp civilization. They have almost no Federation technology, let's say. They've been, and I promise you, any technology they do have is almost 100% stolen from the Cardassians, any advanced technology. Because as I recall, the Bajorans were very primitive people until they were forcibly colonized by the Cardassians. And that's the nice way to put it. Matter of fact, I think forcibly colonized is the most pleasant euphemism I've ever heard to describe the Cardassian occupation of Bajor. Which is how it's referred to, but really, the Cardassians were kind of space Nazis in the Bajoran Holocaust, you know? It was not a pleasant time. And it was so bad that even some of the Cardassians are ashamed of it, the ones who took part in it. Which, by the way, was the basis of one of the best episodes Deep Space Nine has ever had. It's called Duet. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's good. Season 1. One of the few highlights of Season 1. Because, again, Trek is horrible for the first 2 seasons. It doesn't matter which Trek, pick one. The answer is yes. Oh, that led to a moment that I had fun with the judge, because by the time his Avengers had closed my Kaiju, because that was the judge's match, they all had their constructs, so they all had that Sinestro Core ability, where it's the -2. He's like, is it a -2 on him or him? I'm like, yes. He's like, which one? Yes. All of them. Took him a couple minutes to grasp that I was literally saying yes to all of them. And everyone else was laughing because they got it as soon as I said it. They're like, oh god, he's screwed. He got him set up. You know? By the way, everyone else was having fun with my Kaiju until it was their turn to fight them. And I feel really bad because due to the fact that he had a buy round, the new guy, which again, I don't have a name for him yet, but we're going to call him New Guy for now. The new guy was playing my Jaegers, 4 of them, with the Phoenix Force style. And I didn't really have time to train him how to work that. And he didn't really... The problem was I made all my defensive rolls against him. And I literally didn't maneuver him into anything bad. Well, anything like I usually do, where I'll put you in a situation that works for you, but is better for me. I didn't even do that to him. The the kaiju were that powerful that I just completely fucking steamrolled him. He hit me like twice. And never even put any of my guys in danger of being taken out. And I just, literally, our match took about 5 minutes. And it was not a pretty fight. And I feel really bad about it that his second ever HeroClix tournament was against one of the most brutal teams I'd ever made. Because the kaiju don't play nice. Because they're friggin' kaiju. They're city-destroying monsters designed to end civilizations. And turns out, even in HeroClix stems, they do that real well. They're very good at it. But yeah. In case you're wondering, I think P3 got the other prize. Yeah, he did. He got the fellowship roll. But the new guy was my second round. Our driver was the third round, and she kind of had to rage quit against him. And I don't really blame her. But after Thor went down, because she was playing Asgardians, and she was mad. Like, well, this is a team I've been playing. I built for fun, and I'm like, just because the kaiju are a broken faction doesn't mean I wasn't playing them for fun. I love my kaiju. I rarely get to play them. One moment. Please don't let that be for me. Okay, good. It's not for me. Oh, damn it. Camera, come back. Thank you. But yeah, for me, the kaiju are a fun faction. I never get to play them. Because they're big, they're scary, they're colossals, and they cost a small fortune. Like Raiju, the lowest cost of my kaiju was 250 points. Slattern was 300. You can play Slattern at up to 600. And I think Raiju tops at like 300 something, because I was playing him and Slattern at half. Scunner is 200 to 400 depending on what dial you play him at. I was playing him at 4, because Scunner's ridiculous at top dial. Especially if you give him exploit weakness via the scissors, because I played him like that once with the when the Green Lantern battery was first coming out. We had the scissors, and it was more than a little overpowered. Because Gunner has this power called Blades, Claws, Fangs, which lots of people have it, but his is special. Blades, Claws, Fangs is you roll a d6 in place of your damage. Whatever you roll becomes your damage for that attack. So if I have a 2 and I roll a 5, I'm hitting you for 5. If I roll a 2 and I hit you for... if I have a 2 and I roll a 1, I hit you for 1, so I do less damage. Scunner has a 5 with his blades, so normally I wouldn't even consider rolling that. However, Scunner's blades is special. Scunner's blade states that he rolls the minimum of his printed damage. So when I blades with 5 damage, if I roll a 1 through 5, I hit for 5. If I roll a 6, I hit for 6. So you'd be stupid not to roll blades. And I'm not that stupid, so I roll blades. And with that, the scissors thing, he cuts through damage reducers. And even with the new invincible power, which is a damage ignorer rather than a reducer, blunting half of my attacks, I still made short work of literally everything that came up against me. And to be fair, if Hulk didn't have special clicks designed to make him stop taking damage during attacks, I'd have taken him out too. It's just that once I noticed that he had all those stop clicks buried in him and he had that basically free regen trick, I stopped trying to hurt him. You know? I'm like, okay, I'll finish up the rest of his team, and if Hulk's still standing at the end, or if there's still time at the end, I'll take out Hulk. Because of course Hulk would still be standing at the end, because I'm not hurting him. But, yeah. It was a good tournament for me. I left with a lot more stuff than I came in with. And any tournament where you come home with more stuff than you left home with is generally a good tournament. Shit, I lost track of where I was. I lost track of where I was. Here's where I was. It's going to be quite a thing when it's finally done. It'll be very impressive. I've done this once, like I said. Well, done it once legitimately, let's say. And it came out amazing. But the problem was the sheer amount of time it took. Again, it took me something like 16, 20 hours. And with me only doing an hour a week on this, it could get me through most of the year. So by the time this project is done, there shouldn't be too much year left, and I can, by then I'm bound to have come up with another project. But yeah, this was all HeroClix talk so far for the whole first half of this. I heard from Sammy kind of last night. She tried to message me while I was away. Apparently she's back and hopefully feeling better. She said she had to go away for a couple days, check in with something, she was real stressed and whatnot. So, might talk to her, might even be able to resume the Let's Watches soon. Haven't heard anything yes or no from Eisen on when he and Bo are going to be doing their Season 5 stuff. I want to try and get in on that with them and do part of their commentaries if they'll let me. I'll even promise to behave for the most part. Oh good, I'm almost done with this row. Or this tier, rather. But, good news, my roommate has a lot of job prospects flowing in. My niece knows a guy who works at the Pinch A Penny warehouse. Hold on a moment. Hold on. Microphone. Okay, I'm back. But, I want to try and get in on their Season 5 stuff if I can. Oh yeah, that's right, the roommate. The roommate has a couple job prospects. My niece, that is my other niece, because my roommate's dating one of my nieces. Well, it's that niece's older sister, which is my oldest niece, who's actually older than me by about a year and a half. But that's not important to the story. She knows a guy, supposedly, well, you know, she knows a guy who works at the Pinch A Penny warehouse who supposedly has a lot of pull who might be able to get him a job. He's also got something near my niece's house. I don't remember what it was. I was just briefly touched on, but that's something that could be good. One of my friend's friends, he's kind of my friend, but I mean, like, I get along with the guy, but we don't hang out independent of this friend, you know? It's not like, hey, man, come over and hang out. I mean, I wouldn't mind hanging out with the guy, but we don't, you know, I don't have contact info for him. But he suggested, you know, the guys at Kane's warehouse, the truck drivers need help, and that's good money. I'm like, oh, he could get that. So, and of course, there's always fast food to fall back on. Plus the Circle K thing. We haven't heard back, but we haven't heard bad either. So that could be a thing as well. So he's got prospects, and hopefully something will materialize soon. Because I don't really dwell on it much. I mean, it may seem like it because I mention it every week. But then again, this is my weekly update video, and I mention everything that comes to mind. And that, while I don't dwell on it, it does come up quite a bit in my head. The fact that, if nothing else, this is the first half hour, right? Check. Yeah, that's the first half hour, okay. But say, I could have sworn we had one of those already. But, number one is the fact that we kind of need to pay these bills. Number two is the fact that once he gets paid, I get money back, because he owes for a little bit of February, all of last month, and all of this month. And since me and Mom cover those bills, it basically defaults back to us as sort of like a tax refund kind of thing. It's a similar situation. So, basically, I'll get a refund back for what I've paid out of his money. and so will Mom. And I can use that to pay for my Star Trek kits, my ships from the store, my ships remaining on Amazon, a new bike so I don't have to borrow theirs all the time, cat litter, that's important, and a couple other things that I need. So, also, the judge is obsessed with, oh, we need to make a show of you. You're a real character, you know. Make a sitcom, strap a GoPro to your head and just film what you do every day. Oh, and I'll give you like $100 for it. And I'm like, that's not enough. Like, you wouldn't do it for $100? And he kept trying to say, oh, you're stupid. You're giving up $100. Till the new guy pointing in the fact is that it's like, it's not that he's turning down the money. He's saying that you're going to be making a lot more money than you pay him. He's like, oh, well, it's negotiable. I'm like, for one thing, no. If I had any desire to do that kind of thing, I'd face cam, and I don't. I mean, the closest you're going to get to me on a face cam is the video podcast, and that's assuming any of you watch it. Which supposedly it will be on YouTube, among other things, and I will be linking it in my channel, because I want my people to see this. If you're ever curious what I look like, I'll be on the podcast. You know? And the other thing I told him is if I had any desire to have any kind of show like that, I'd do it myself and cut out the middleman. It's like, oh, let's say you're making $500 an episode or whatever, and you give me 100, or as he put it, well, I could give you 20%. I could do that and get 20%, or if it made money, I could do it and get all of it by just doing the damn thing myself. Because I have access to all the stuff he does, and I already have a channel. I already have people on my channel who watch me do stuff. So if there was any kind of market in the field of me for that kind of thing, I could just market myself. I could do my own product and keep everything for myself. And really, it's kind of annoying to me that he does this. It's like he's trying to build up some kind of thing, like, oh, just like the kind of a cult of me kind of thing. Not cult of him, cult of me. Like, oh, you're just such a character. I think people will watch you. For all I know, they might, but I have no desire to turn my life into a fucking circus. You know, because I'm actually a very private person. And if you question the fact that, oh, you're a private person, why do you have Let's Plays, and why do you do this update video? Because here's the thing about this update video. I completely control all the information that goes out. You know, I have absolute say over what I say. I don't have a director sitting next to me in the chair saying, talk about the HeroClix tournament, but I don't want, I did horrible. Tell him, I sucked at the Clicks tournament. You know, and that's the thing. Is if I had a show like that, especially with him running it, he would have a say over what it is, and he wants me to put my everyday life in here. No, I don't want my everyday life done. Especially since he's like, oh, people love your rhetoric, because apparently to him, anytime I try and make a point, it's not that I'm making a point, it's rhetoric. It's like, oh, I'm paralyzed by your rhetoric. It's like, no, you're just fucking impervious to logic. There's a difference. Can I do rhetoric? Yes. Do I do rhetoric? No. And that's the thing, is anytime I say anything that either he doesn't think is relevant for whatever reason, or he just wants to be cute, or he disagrees with it, it's rhetoric. If he were to say the same thing, oh, I'm just making a point, nub. And it's one of those double standard things that piss me off so much. And I keep trying to explain to him, people wouldn't love my rhetoric because it's not rhetoric to 89% of the fucking population. And there aren't enough yous on the internet to keep that kind of a show afloat. You know? And it just, like I said, it annoys me, but it's something he brought up, and no, I have no desire to do it. I don't care if I get 1,000 comments saying, dude, I'll pay you $5 to do that. Not for sale. I'm not selling that pitch. I'm not buying that pitch. That pilot will not air. I mean, I have my weekly update show, and that's enough for me. You know? This is as much into my life as the average YouTuber needs to have. You want to get to know me? You want to see what my everyday life is? Get to know me. Make friends with me. leave comments, leave messages, you know. Contribute to the Patreon, that helps. If nothing else, if you're a Patreon contributor, I suddenly have a vested interest in keeping your good opinion. You know, because at that point you're helping to pay some of my bills. Gaming bills, of course, because again, I promised, at least for now, that everything made off Patreon goes in some way towards the channel. Ah, man, next month's gonna suck. XSplit and PlayStation Plus both come up for renewal next month, so next month's kind of gonna suck. But yeah, like I said, he just irritates me with shit like that. Because he doesn't realize how condescending something like that is to somebody. You know, because the way he does it, it's very condescending. He's like, oh, because this is the same kind of... By the way, in case you're wondering why I think it's condescending, this is the same person who says, oh, I wish I had someone with Down syndrome because they're adorable. Yeah, that's the level of condescending we're stuck with here. This is the guy who made Jay rage quit a D&D game because he would not accept the idea that I would not let his Gnoll Barbarian have a Down syndrome goblin as a slave. First off, he would not accept the idea at first that there would even be a Down syndrome goblin. He's like, no, there's got to be a Down syndrome goblin in here. I'm gonna wander around these goblin worms until I find one with Down syndrome. You're not going to. Why not, Nub? Everybody's get Down syndrome occasionally. Yeah, but the problem is, goblins live such a life of heavy attrition that someone like that would not live to adulthood. Because I told him, look, goblins are at the bottom of the fucking food chain. It's like Spartans, you know? Spartans back then, or at least using the 300 version of Spartans, because I don't think they were quite that bad in real Sparta. I don't think they would have destroyed you as a child. You just would have lived basically a worthless life as a slave or something. You would have had no standing in their society if you couldn't be a warrior. But using the 300 version of Spartans as my guide, if they weren't discarded at birth, they would have definitely died of natural causes. So no Down syndrome goblins, period, because they wouldn't have lived long enough. And then he's like, well, fine, then I'm going to take another goblin and make it my slave. I'm like, no. And he's arguing, you won't let me do it. I'm like, no, I won't let you do it personally. This is a D&D game. This is a fantasy thing, and he is a gnoll, and gnolls take slaves. And in fantasy situations, you can get slaves. Now, me personally, I find the whole concept of slavery absolutely abhorrent, you know? But, again, high fantasy game and all in someone's head, so it doesn't have the same moral implications, you know? It's not like allowing slavery in a D&D game is going to bring it back to America. So that's not the reason that I argued he couldn't do it. The reason I argued he couldn't do it is he had no training in breaking a slave. And he tried stupid shit like, oh, I'm gonna hug the goblin. Okay, he stabbed you that turn. I'm gonna try an intimidate check. Okay, he's scared of you. He still stabs you that turn. Or he doesn't stab you that turn, but he's not gonna... He's like, oh, I'm gonna try and break him psychologically. You don't know how. You know, you don't have that training. And I basically said, okay, if you give up the next 5 feats that you would get, as you level, I will give you, through those sacrifice feats, the ability to break creatures and be your slaves. But because that wouldn't apply until, like, level 14, he said, no, that's stupid. And he wouldn't fucking let it go. Because the thing you need to realize in a D&D game is that the DM at some point is going to say, it will never happen. There is no amount of dice you can roll that this will happen. You know? And I even flat out told him, I'm like, look, you can roll all the dice you want. You can roll every die ever made in the world. You will not get a number high enough to make this happen. Because whatever you roll, I will take that number and add a negative 50 to it. And it will not be enough. You will auto-fail. You are destined to fail this roll. And he wouldn't accept it. So the other guy just, like, he took the joke to the point where it wasn't funny to anyone but him. He was, at that point, literally the only one having fun with this. And then, when Jay quit, due to understandably being pissed off and annoyed by him, his response was, oh, he's being such a baby, he needs to grow up. I'm like, no, you need to fucking grow up. Mister, I want a Down syndrome goblin, because they're adorable. Because things with Down syndrome are adorable, and a goblin slave would be adorable, so that's double adorable. No, it's not fucking adorable. It's condescending and insulting. And that's why I get pissed when he does stuff like this, like, oh, you're a character. No, I'm not. I'm not a character, I'm a fucking person. I may be entertaining, but that's not the same thing as what he's saying. He's like, you're like a fucking cartoon character. No, I'm not. And you're the only person who sees me that way. Because that's the thing, when I'm in a social situation, I do try to entertain people, because I enjoy entertaining people. And it's not like the other thing, like, oh, I want to be accepted. I don't care if people accept me. The only people I care who accept me are my friends, and I don't have to put on a show for my friends. I do, because I enjoy entertaining them. And I enjoy making people make the squick face. You know? If I can freak you out, that's the icing on the cake of my day. But, again, it's just... It's the fact that he basically reduces what I am as a person by saying things like that. To me, he reduces me to a caricature of what I actually am. Like, for example, he's the one, again, who I don't bother sharing most of the stuff about my life with, because I get ridiculed for it. And then he does shit like this on top of it. Because, yes, am I entertaining? Am I funny? Am I strange? Yes. You know what else I am? I'm also very introspective. I can be very serious at times. That's the thing is, even when I'm serious, he thinks that's funny. Oh, you're all business today. Yeah, I'm all business because I'm trying to win a fucking tournament. I didn't come here and build a team to just goof off. I came here and built a team hoping I could win the fucking tournament. Or maybe I did it because you'd cry if I didn't show up. You're not supporting the venue! You know, because he does that too. But yeah, that's the other thing. Like, oh, you're all business today. Yeah, because I'm trying to win and you're trying to stall. Or I'm trying to win and you're someone who's not involved in my tournament who's trying to distract me. So yes, I'm all business. Because here's the thing. I take my hobbies seriously enough that when it's game time, it's fucking game time. You know? And here's the thing, if my talking is distracting you during a game, and I'm talking to you, you can't tell me if I'm not in your match, oh, you're distracting me, shut up. Well, I'm in my match and I'm talking to my opponent. If you can't shut me out, that's your business. If I'm outside your match and I'm talking to you or your opponent and it's distracting you, and you ask me nicely and are not a dick about it, like, can you please not do that right now? I really need to focus. I'm at a crucial point in the game, etc., you know? I'll shut up. I dropped it. All conversation is done. But if you're a dick about it, and I know the judge well enough to know that I will not be disqualified, I'll go worse. You know? And basically say, look, I'm not distracting him, and that's the person I'm talking to. You know? Because I'm actually a very considerate person, despite what he thinks. You're inconsiderate. You don't have social things. I'm like, no. He says, like, oh, you don't bother to explain stuff. Like, remember the earlier comment where he's like, did you do, or does he have this, or does he have this? Yes. I had to repeat that for him 5 times, and then someone had to flat out spell it out to him before he got it. Meanwhile, again, everyone else at the table, including one person who wasn't even at any match, he was just at the table, all laughed because they understood immediately, with no explanation, exactly what I meant. Which was, yes, all of my characters have that. And his response was, see, this is what's wrong, you don't explain anything. I don't explain it because there's no reason to, because everybody knows what it means, except you. And the reason I don't explain it is because I have enough respect for your intelligence that I believe you understand what I have to say and that you can figure it out. That's why I don't spell it out for you, because I don't think you're incompetent. Turns out, apparently, you are, and can't understand something that anyone who can get simple social cues would get. Which is, yes, all of my characters have that ability because of this. Because you took too long getting to me and gave me all the time I needed to set up. And that's the thing, in almost any kind of game that requires any kind of preparation, you have to blitz me. Because I take a long time to set up, but when I do, I steamroll. It's like, to use a Dragonlance term, the concept of a gnomish juggernaut. Getting that thing up the hill takes all the time and effort in the world, but as soon as that thing hits the top of that hill and goes down, there is no force on this earth that will stop it. And that's the thing, is I play a very cerebral setup. There's a lot of prep work that goes into my teams, a lot of setup, a lot of planning. And if you give me the time to execute said plans, you've lost. Unless I get bad die rolls or unless you're literally that much better than me, I'm going to win. And that's what happened. Is he gave me time to set up all 3 of my kaiju and get them exactly how and where I needed them to be. And even with my abysmal die rolls, my stats were just so high and his were so lowered that I cleaned his clock. Like, one of the first things I noticed was his Avengers had some kind of special Avengers Assemble ability where every time they did something or I did something to them, they got an ability that I chose what happened. And Nick Fury basically says, well, I get to choose anyway. Where basically he gets to override my action if I choose something he doesn't want. Like, Iron Man had some ability where he could put some kind of character in his starting area, or get a +1 defense to all of his teammates. I said, take the character. I don't care. It's just more points for me, you know? And he didn't like that, so he rolled a die, got the roll he needed, and said, no, instead we're just going to get a plus to all my defenses. So naturally, as soon as he did that, the very next thing I did was to kill Nick Fury. Because you don't let your opponent control the map that way. Control the board. By the way, I want to point that out. That as bad as my kaiju were, as overpowered as they were, and they were bad, they were overpowered, I didn't get the map I chose. Not one round did I get the map I chose. Because I brought along a map that specifically buffed the crap out of the kaiju, because kaiju have a special ability where they're in water. If they're in water, they get stronger. Their damage goes up, their attack goes up. And the map I chose was completely underwater, and on top of that, anyone with the swim symbol, which kaiju have, also gets +2 speed. So I would have been faster, stronger, and hit harder if I'd got my map, and nobody let me get it, and it was still an absolute curb stomp tournament. So imagine what would happen if I'd gotten my map. You know, there'd have been literally nothing anyone could have done to stop me. It didn't help that I got Slattern in the middle of Cap, Black Widow, Thor, Iron Man, and Hulk. Because Slattern's ability is to whip those tails around and hit everybody adjacent. And because I'm a giant, I consider everyone up to 1 square away adjacent. Basically, anyone touching my base and anyone next to the square touching my base is considered adjacent. Hit them for my full damage, which was a 5. So that softened up his entire team to the point where Slattern just had to go. That was the next figure he focused on, because if he didn't, he was dead. You know? Unfortunately, I still got like 2 or 3 attacks off before he killed Slattern. So that just kind of bit him. You know? And then he argued for the first time ever, because he wanted to not get Thor killed, that Thor wasn't adjacent to me, because in HeroClix rules, line of fire is a very weird thing. Where if your line of fire, if there's a square blocking terrain and a character in sort of a corner faction, like let's say, let's use this as an example, okay. This is the blocking. I have something else here. Yes. This is the blocking. This is the character, and this is where I am, and this is the place I want to shoot. This creates blocking, so I can't target this character with outwit or anything that requires line of fire. But if I'm here and he's here, I can still punch because I'm still adjacent. And he was trying to argue that I wasn't adjacent because he wanted to break away with Thor. Oh, I'm not adjacent to you. That's only for punching. Yes, and everything else that adjacency implies. And we argued for like a minute until it was basically decided that, yes, I'm right. He's like, fine, I'm going to look that up later. I'm like, you wouldn't be looking it up if it weren't you. If it were me, you wouldn't be looking it up. And then the driver next turn tried to argue the same thing because she had a character who was giant size and able to do that ranged punch thing that I'm able to do with my kaiju. And she tried to argue she could punch over a rock, and I said you can't do that because of where the rock is. It's like, well, you were able to do it. I'm like, yes, because, again, it was a case of I'm here and they're here, or something like that. This is a case of I'm here and she's here and the rock is directly between us. You know? So it wouldn't work because of where the rock was. If she... literally, I told her, if you take one step to the left, which Sif, it was Sif from the movie, could do, you could do it. And she's like, I don't want it there because he obviously wants me there. I'm like, no, I'm trying to set you up in a situation where you can do the move you want to do. It was early up in the game, and Sif didn't hit it hard enough that I was actually concerned. The fact that it did put Sif where I wanted her was entirely beside the point, you know. By the way, it did put Sif where I wanted her. Raiju has this ability to pulse wave every square he can see within 4 squares of him, and hit everyone for 3 damage through their powers. And with Sif being in a position to do that, it would help me. Of course, anywhere that Sif could have hit me, I could have hit Sif, so it didn't matter to me where it was. I was just giving her the legal square to do it. You know? But yeah, my kaiju did not go over well. But it kind of paid off for me, because last week, I didn't win, but I got the fellowship roll. So I won a prize, and I got to choose, and I chose an Aqualad for Skinner. Because I know he really likes Atlanteans. And that was an Atlantean figure. And a really good one we found out after we actually grabbed him. And he doesn't win the tournaments often, because half the time he can't even make it to them. So being a good friend, I'm like, you know what? I have a chance. There's nothing that really jumps out at me, because the figure I wanted wasn't up for grabs yet. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be nice and forego my prize and get a prize for him and give it to him. And I did. I also wanted the Wonder Woman prize, which I ended up getting this week. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this for him, especially since he had gotten me those Blue Lantern constructs, the extra ones, because there are 7 that come with the battery, but there's like 6 or 7 extras beyond that you get from boosters. They were originally convention exclusive, but enough people cried that they released boosters on them, because they were only given away in small amounts so that very few people had a full set. And each one was going for like $80. You know? So it was next to impossible unless you were rich to get a full set. So they released them in little mini boosters, and he bought all the blue ones for me, all the yellows for Anubis, and all the black and red for himself. Without charging me, or as I put it, putting it on my tab. So I'm like, you know what? He did that for me. I'm going to get this figure for him. So if nothing else, I look at this last week's win, or yesterday's win, rather, as sort of a payback that now I get to get the figure I want. Because I gave him a figure that he wanted. You know? Because here's the thing. If P3 had won his second match against, again, the driver person, I'd have fought him in the finals. And I don't think I could have beaten the zombies. I don't think I could have. I really don't. Because my kaiju were built to fight lower point characters. And the zombies would not have been lower points than me, so all of the advantages I had would have been completely negated. So, again, it's just dumb luck that the match went to time against him versus the driver. Because she said flat out, if the match had gone on longer, she would have lost. Not might have, would have lost. And everyone is in agreement because the zombies are freaking broken. That she would not have won that match. She could not have won that match. And it's nothing against her abilities as a player. The zombies are just that nasty, you know? Because she is a good player. It's just... I mean, it's all I could do to just hold my own against those damn things, and I'm a good player. I don't think I could have won. If it had been Kaiju versus zombies, unless I got really lucky on my rolls, the best I could have done is taken him to time and had slightly more figures dead. But I don't think I could have beaten him at all. So my win was due to luck on my side. Because even then, I might not have won the first match if he'd gotten better rolls. Because the Avengers are not a freaking joke, you know? So yeah, this Saturday I've got a Star Trek tournament, the final month of Resistance is Futile. And I talked to my driver, and I basically told her, look, I don't have the money for this tournament, and you're short on chips, so here's the deal. If you pay my tournament fee, I will give you whatever my blind booster is, because I have all 5 of them. I don't need any more. If I get it, I'm almost certainly going to trade the thing. So, I'll give it to you, whatever it is, and you pay for my tournament. That way I can play, you get a ship, etc. Especially since she's only probably going to stay for the first round, so she doesn't really have a chance to win anything. So that way she gets 2 things to go home. And she agreed, so that's 1 covered. There's another one later this month, and I don't know if I'm even gonna... I don't know if I even want to try for that one, honestly, because I have that kit coming as well. If I go, it's really just to try and shark one of theirs, you know? Which is basically the term we use when we go to a venue that is way below our skill level and just walk off with figures. Now, that's not to say this place is below my skill level, because it's not, because I'm still new to the game. And I'm getting better. I'm getting much better every time, and I have almost everything to choose from. But that still doesn't mean that they're below my skill level. That's why I say try to shark them, because I may be able to pull it off with a cheap strategy that I come up with, but I might not. And there's no way to know until I go. But either way, it's a thing. You know, it's a thing. Hello, horsey! Need to find him a friend. You know what? I think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna find him a friend. I will take the cobblestone, just because. Here, let me get this. And we duck. Yes, yes, I know. Thank you, timer. And, I know that's time, but we're not going to end just yet. Nope. Nope, don't you do it. Oh, that's going to get old fast, isn't it? Can I make saddles? Because if I can make saddles, I'm going to make a freaking saddle. look like it. Oh, we finally have those, but I have no slime balls. Glass bottles, cauldrons, buckets. What's this do? Nope. Alright. I'm gonna find another horse first and lead it back here. So my horse can have a friend. Hopefully this won't take me too terribly long. But yeah, I want to try and... the only reason I really want to try and go to that one and win theirs is because I think I've got a shot at it. I might start going to less and less of their tournaments, only because I have all their kits, and it's hard to get to their venue, and it costs me 15 bucks a tournament, you know? On top of that, it's costing 20 bucks per prize kit of my own. So that's... And because I'll have those kits, I'll have the prize, because it's judge prize. So I'm basically paying an extra 15 bucks a month, plus bus fare, to try to win something I already have. You know? So it's mostly a social thing, and a way to learn the game, and maybe get a ship? But the kicker is, pretty soon, I'm going to have everything. So it won't even be a case of, well, I want to win the pass so I can trade it for a ship I need. No, there is no ship I need. I have everything at that point, you know? The paw, the hood, all of those I'm going to have. And I won't need a double. You know? At that point, it'll strictly be a case of, oh, I really like the card in here or something, but I'll have one. So, I mean, unless I'm trading them to my players, which I could technically do. Like the judge, for example, I owe him a lot of money. I could trade him the figures and say, hey, I'll give you this if you take 20 bucks off what I owe you, you know? Except, here's the problem. He's been doing something similar to what I'm doing, except instead of going on and using an Amazon store card to get everything, he's just trading HeroClix, so he already has, like, 2 or 3 of, say, Tactical Cube 001, which is the grand prize for Resistance Fuel. He's got multiples of a lot of the Borg ships. Well, where's the fucking horses? So, trading to him isn't going to be a thing. Most likely. So, I mean, it's anyone's guess what I'm going to do with the prize if I even get it. Although I will say the Pop, in particular, is a Burrell-class bird of prey, and bird of prey are very good ships. Very agile, very versatile, pretty powerful for what they are. You know, for something that specializes so much in maneuverability and evasion, it packs quite a punch. And it turns on a dime, too, which is always desirable in a ship. But, yeah, I mean, it's anyone's guess what I'm going to do with all those extras. I mean, I'm not going to stop going to them all together, to that venue's tournaments, but I might start showing up less, just because I've got my own to run, and it's costing me a lot of money as it is, because you got to figure, spending $45 a month on ships, not including tax, 20 on my own venues, tournaments, because we got to get our prize kits, and then 15 on theirs? I mean, that's freaking 80 bucks right there, plus another 5 for bus fare. $85 a month on Star Trek, and I can cut 20 bucks of that completely out of the equation by just not going. And like I said, I will still try to go to some of theirs, but I don't know if I'm going to go to all of them. If I can, I will make an effort to get to play the Matter of Honor one, because the PA. It's a good ship, and it sounds like a scenario that I can really break. And that's what it really is. I want to see if I can break this scenario. You know? And the thing is, I'm going to show up there with 3 board ships. Just flat out 3 board ships. And I'm going to get yelled at, and I'm going to get called a dick for it. But I don't care, because I'm going to tell them, look, I want to see if I can break this scenario, and this is the way I want to do it. You know? Am I going to play Borg all the time? No. I could, but I'm not going to. Alright, I'm going to give myself another couple minutes to try and find a horse. And if I don't, I'm just going to head back. If I find one along the way, so be it. But I'm only going to be at this for a little bit. Wish I had some fish so I could get an Oxykitty. Actually, something just occurred to me. I was saying, oh, I don't have any slime balls for the lead line. I don't have any line either because I haven't been going underground and finding spider webs. So I don't have any thread either. And that's why I don't have fish for the fishing line. Or fishing line to catch the fish with. No idea where I even am anymore. Not a fucking clue. What the balls? What did I find? Well, that's kind of cool. It's noteworthy, at least. Look at this. Look at what it is. Just a little protrusion for no reason. I love when Minecraft does weird shit like that. It just makes bizarre formations or protrusions like that. Or my personal favorite is islands floating in the sky. They don't happen often, but they do happen. Full-on land masses in the sky for no reason. I love that. Which reminds me, that's what I'm going to have to build soon, is a sky landmass. Because I love the fact that, for the most part, Minecraft just throws physics completely out the window. If you can get a single piece of dirt up in the sky, you can make a continent out of it. A floating continent of whatever the hell you want. In fact, it's totally a thing I could do. I could move my project up in the air. There's no real reason to, other than the fact that I think it'd be goofy. Be time consuming too, though. That's the problem. Okay, any jungle horses? Jungle horse? Yes? No? Maybe? Jungle horse. Oh, the jungle horse. Well, doesn't that just suck? And yes, I can see the pillar over there. I'm going to look over here real quick. Horse? Horses? No horses? This makes me sad. Lava? Or did I do this? Huh. Must have been something I did. Well, if I did it once, I can do it again. Down the hatch! Ah, it's one of those. Okay, that makes sense. Must be from the last time I went underground. Curious. Incidentally, I really love the way that the rock and the dirt blends like that. It looks real pretty. Okay, gonna take the long way around. A well! It's the first structure I think I found that I didn't fucking make. But in it? Yeah. No village, though. That still makes me very sad. Because without villagers, there's just a bunch of supplies that I will never have access to. Because I don't think you find potatoes and carrots in the wild. You just either have them or you don't. And I don't. I didn't start with them, so I don't have them. So I can never grow them. Ever, ever, ever. Which makes it all the more fitting that I'm in peaceful mode because I fucking starved to death. I mean, I have bread, but that's not the same thing. Well, I guess I'll end off here. Well, yeah. Alright, everybody, I'm Kyrix, and this has been This Week in Kyrix. Hold on, let me top off this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm Kyrix, and this has been This Week in Kyrix, and I'll see you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.